dedicated to preventing and reducing homelessness by creating supportive services. Each episode focuses on practical solutions like job training, financial literacy, and real estate investing, featuring expert insights and also success stories to empower literacy in our listeners all across the country. I'm Randy Chambliss. I am the private money lender, and as I am the Louisiana Housing Authority Executive Director and also CEO and founder of Chambliss Mortgage Capital. Chambliss Mortgage Capital is funded by a reliable nationwide private credit fund that has funded over $10 billion over the last 10 years. Who is Chambliss Mortgage Capital? Chambliss Mortgage Capital is a reliable, direct private money lender for real estate investors. And as a result of the education, expert guidance, and also private money that we lend, real estate investors, developers, and entrepreneurs get fair access to the capital they need to fund their profitable real estate investment deals. So they can earn the income they prefer and really live the lifestyle that they really want, all while creating affordable and workforce housing to prevent and reduce homelessness. So I have my co-host is here. I'm super excited. I have to my left.
I am Barry Mallory, founder and CEO of Helping the Village, a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to help to empower families and to do things that provide better living and standards for our families here in the New Orleans area. These things will be development, workforce skills, financial literacy as stated, and any other things that we need to actually help a family and keep the family together. We want to bring back the village as it was as we were children. So that's what we're working on primarily, bringing the village back.
Awesome. I love it, Mr. Barry. And I have to my right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dion Diana with Diana's Professional Consultant Services. My company was founded in 2008. And our focus is, and our training is to make sure that we give back to people by making sure they properly develop, skilled, and trained. One of the things in particular that we focus on is making sure people get trained, they get properly educated, and also we help people overall with employment services. Also, in addition to that, we give back for is helping people conserve energy and look at ways overall how they can learn how to save money and have a better investment.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Mr. Dion, I am excited to be working with you, sir, to be able to share some knowledge to our listeners. Mr. Barry, I'm super excited to work with you as well.
Thank you very much.
So listen, let's just dive into it. Make sure, guys, if you're watching this on social media, YouTube, Facebook, make sure you leave a positive comment, share this radio show, and also, we can be looking at to turning this thing into a podcast as well, right? So also, callers, right? We are always looking for supportive services. So if you have a service that can help prevent and end homelessness and reduce homelessness, we are all in, all ears, right? 504-582-9422 is the call-in number. So listen, guys, let's just talk about some challenges that we've been having for a while, right? And so over the years, we've discovered that in 1968, the black home ownership rate was higher at that time than it is in today's time, right? 1968, the building wealth disparity gap between whites and blacks is higher today than it was back in 1968.
Okay.
So another statistic I like to share when we're talking about building affordable and workforce housing, and that is capital. Real estate investing, like we know, is a very capital-intense business, and then our democracy actually rely and is fueled by capital, right? So many people decided, hey, I'm going to use the vehicle of real estate investing to create wealth, but the fuel for that actual train that we're going down is going to be capital. We need the capital. So $87 trillion. When you look at private equity firms, and then also we look at venture capitalist companies. Between them combined, as $87 trillion with a T that they combine and that they have in their possession. About 1.33% of that $87 trillion is reinvested into businesses that started and ran by people of color and women combined. Now, women make up the majority of the population, and people of color make up at least 13% or more, but yet we getting 1.33%. However, what frustrates me the most is the fact that the majority of that money is being given to them by public employee pension systems. Public employee pension systems. We all have family members that's working as a teacher, firefighter, police officer, hospital that's ran by the government, et cetera, nurses, et cetera. But every time they get paid, a part of their pension goes up for their retirement, and aggregated together is given to these big corporations, big pension funds, private equity, and venture capital. So that means that we are not getting fair access to the capital. So we know for a fact, it's not a secret that we've been battling homelessness, trying to prevent it, trying to reduce it for years. But oftentimes we look towards the state government, federal government, and also our local government, city council women, city council men, nonprofits. We even look to regional and local banks to save us. But at the end of the day, the only people, and it's proven, that's going to really drive this vehicle is going to be the average person like you and I. It's going to be the average person that's listening to this radio show program right here, Helping the Village. And so our goal is to be able to educate you, empower you, give you the expert guidance and private capital you need so you can go out there and develop that affordable house. So you can go out there and develop that workforce housing. So now we could start to solve this problem collectively as a team. So I wanted to be able to, go to Mr. Barry and talk a little bit more about his program, Helping the Village. So give us some insights on how we could develop like more home ownership and be able to solve this problem, Mr. Barry.
So Helping the Village, we want to start not only with the mother, but we want to start with the father if he's in the household. But if not, we want to start educating the children at an early age, say 12 or 13, teaching them about banking, how to bank, how to write checks, not just do everything on Cash App, because you can't buy a house with Cash App. So these things we want to start with the children as well as the adults. We want to have the parents come in with the children because with the village, we have everybody helping out. We have the aunties, the uncles, and all the people that helped out years ago with our children, development of our children, because they're our children. They're in our neighborhood. So we need to redevelop our children. We need to train our children the proper way to do everything for us, jobs, going to school, proper etiquette, and everything they do. So when our children go out, they've already trained for the job. They know how to be disciplined on a job. They know how to do it well on the job and not only just work forever for a job, but open their own business and become their own manager, be their own boss. And so teaching financial literacy at an early age is one of the things we need to target. And we need to target people even with mental problems so we can get the entire family. When we say the village, we mean every individual that lives in the village, not just a certain class of people. So every individual that lives in the village need to be serviced, no matter what background you come from, what your education is, what your job title, whatever. And then we get the churches all involved. We want to have churches involved also. So we have 7 churches. I asked the partnership with my organization, meaning the lead church will be St. John AME Church, will be my lead church. That will be the lead church. But we have several other churches that we asked the partnership with us to find out the needs of the people in order to help the people to find out what their needs are. What do you need? And then we find the resources and we help develop them to be a better person. And then they begin to train other people. So like we talk about amongst ourselves, iron sharpen iron. So we help each other. We, as men, we sharpen one another.
That's right. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And Mr. Dion, you give us some insight, like what's your opinion, your thoughts on how we can help the village to move forward?
Well, I think one of the things overall that's a signature is that we, as far as giving back and helping the communities, and make sure that everybody overall share new ideas. A new idea and suggestion always matter. And then a lot of people don't get an opportunity to respect someone's new idea. They think they always want to be the smartest man in the room, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that don't always work. I think you involve people in the planning of work that affect them, and you get more buy-in and more people overall to the table that really cares about what they do. I also have a significant measure because they have an opportunity to have a voice. And one of the things in particular, Randy, I'm glad you mentioned about Dana's professional consultant services, because one of the things we're passionate about is not only making sure people are properly developed, skilled, and trained, but it's to make sure that we train people overall to understand overall what education is about for as HVAC, energy management, life and safety systems, asset protection. People buy houses or cars or whatever it may be, but we have to understand that's overall an asset. And like anything, you have to take care of your assets.
That's right. It's a beautiful thing. And so that leads us to the topic of job training, job development, employee empowerment. So your organization, Dana's Consultant, you've been training engineers, individuals coming out of high school, coming out of college, of how to be professional stationary engineers, how to own and control AC and refrigeration company, how to actually get that skill set. And this is livable wage jobs, right?
Correct.
So talk a little bit about the organization and the training that you've been providing. And I know you're modest, but give me give us a little background on how many people you think you helped over the last 20 plus years.
The short story is a lot of people. I don't like to say big numbers, but the reality is that the overall passion and commitment I bring to the table, and also my company, Dana's Professional Consulting Services, is to make sure that we give back, to make sure people instill in itself that overall you can learn, and everybody overall have an opportunity and a chance to be better. But one thing in particular, what Mr. Randy Chambers just mentioned, we give education training where we teach air conditioning, refrigeration, chillers, boilers, whatever it may be. Basically, whether it be commercial or residential, we teach you basically how to understand what air conditioning is. And in addition to that, a step further is to also help people become engineering, licensed engineers, where overall they will have the certification and then be able to go inside the workforce and then get very well-paying jobs.
Absolutely. And we're talking about all across the country, guys, not just in the New Orleans area, right? And so just imagine this for a moment. Every hospital that you see across the country needs certified, skilled, trained, and developed engineers to run that hospital. Every office building, any building you can see downtown in the CBD area where you're at, needs this skilled, trained, and developed person or persons to be able to help with asset protection. So that, what Dion is and his organization is doing, is huge to me, because livable wage jobs, that's the key. Jobs is not, we talk about jobs, but oftentimes we're not talking about livable wage jobs. We're talking about good income where that person could feed their family. So therefore, there's no reason to go out and rob, steal, kill, sell drugs, put themselves at risk, put their family at risk, put the community at risk, when we're able to collectively come back and do this. Now, I don't know, no other organization at this particular time that's put in the work that Dion Dana has done. And I want to turn to Mr. Barry in regards to your nonprofit, the mission that you have, going back to financial literacy, right? So oftentimes we think financial literacy is just checkbook, how to write and balance a checkbook, how to get your credit score up. But oftentimes we don't really realize that financial literacy go a little bit deeper to understand that America is built on capitalism. So we have to know and understand what capitalism is. We are based on the pillars of capitalism. And in order for other individuals to be able to earn income, you have to provide a service, right? And that's basically what capitalism is. You don't get nothing for nothing, right? A check not gonna show up in the mailbox. You have to have a need for what you do. Your ability to do it must be great, and the difficulty it is to replacing you must be amazing. And that is a law. That law is called the law of compensation. I'm gonna say that again. The law of compensation states that you have to have the ability, there's have to be a need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty it is to replace you. And if you want to increase your income, there's another law I want you to write down. This law is called the law of economics. The law of economics. And the law of economics states that if you want to increase your income, you must increase your service. So who do you serve? So what profession that you're in? What trade that you're in? And so now if you want to increase your income to make sure that your family is secure, then go and help more people. And that's why, one of the reasons why we came collectively about the radio show name, Helping the Village. The more people that we can help in the village, each one, teach one, pass it on, the more everybody wins. So going back to Mr. Barry, give us a little bit more like on the financial literacy piece, because at the end of the day, if we can't control our finances, we can't put ourselves in a position to buy a house, and then that investor who's invested into that house, taking that risk, he can't sell that house because he have nobody to sell it to.
Right. So if people are educated about financial literacy and have a great paying job, then they're able to take their resources and also buy homes, and then they'll teach their kids how to buy a home. They teach them about investments. So that financial literacy is very important to our youth, but it's also important to some of our adults. As we get older, we need more money, or we want more money to buy things, to take vacations. So we need to make sure that the money is strategically used as we make it. Let's not just make it and spend it just unnecessarily. So we need to spend it on the resources, the things that help us, the things that help our family to grow better. And then when we find someone that in need, we can teach them instead of just keeping the money. We just teach them how to make money. And so I think that's essential, especially for New Orleans, because we don't want to be a city that just party 24/7.
That part.
We work, because people say, 24/7. So there's nothing wrong with enjoying the city of New Orleans. It's a beautiful place. I love my home. But let's begin to teach our children. We party a few times, but we also work all the time.
That part.
And if a man don't work, he doesn't eat. So when we start teaching,
say that again.
if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So we need working men. And then the women, and encourage the man, if a husband doesn't have certain things, and say, hey, baby, I'm going to help you get your certification for refrigeration. I'm going to help you get this. I'm going to study with you on the test. And we also have females studying the same thing. So we want the females to help their man or their husband to be elevated. So then the whole family profit, because the husband is the head, he's working, but the wife is also pushing him. So we also have to have a motivating factor behind us. And then we will surround ourselves by great men like you two great men who actually push me. And sometimes y'all push me, and I appreciate you all encourage me, say, hey, go do this, go do that, go that. The phone never stopped ringing. The emails never stopped. And I appreciate that. So we have, the Lord has blessed me to surround myself around great men. And I'm truly grateful for that. It's not that I take lightly, because if you don't have anybody pushing you, then you'll kind of feel that I can't make it.
Right.
So we need that every day amongst ourselves and amongst people in the street. We got to change the narrative of New Orleans that we're about helping one another than taking one another down. That's what's most important.
Absolutely. And that brings us to some personal development and personal growth, right? You mentioned something that's very critical, the family structure. The husband and wife actually working together. And, we know everybody that's on, all three of us are biblical based, right? And so that lady, that woman, that spouse that we have, she is there to make your life easier.
Yes.
Your goals, you have set the stage for the house, so you have the goals set. This is how we're going to move with the family and the children. And that wife is there to help, be able to support, encourage, motivate. She's so critical to this piece that we're doing. And that's why we see so much disparity in our community, just because that man and the wife is not together.
Yes.
The divorce rate in our community is so high.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And oftentimes it comes from finances.
Financially, yeah. Financial
It's
problems,
crazy.
yes.
Just because we don't have the finances part, the arguments is there. And so let's talk a little bit about personal development. Mr. Dion, you've been married for a long time. You've been building out your business for a long time. What mindset do you have or have had that allows you to keep going when life hits you on the blind side?
Well, I think one of the things, Randy and Barry, what's significant is that when you have the passion and commitment, you can do anything.
Yes.
But you can't give up because times are hard. You're going to have challenges. But like anything, overall, you learn to overcome. And when you have faith in God, everything is going to be all right. It is always just for a season. Nothing is overall forever. But what we make out of it overall is to be positive and keep pushing. But also, my biggest factor of all of my success has always been to give back. To much is given, much is required.
Yes.
Say that again?
To much is given, much is required.
Yes.
So one should never, ever significantly think you're the smartest man in the room. I want to be better than someone. It's not about that. It's about giving back. Because what I found out also of us being the men of God is that when you develop skill and train someone, and you teach that person how to fish for themselves, it overall transcends and give back, because not only you iron sharpen iron,
Yes.
but you get an opportunity to see overall that person grow, and you instilled and invested in them. It sometimes is huge, and then they get an opportunity, Randy, to give back to their sons, their family,
Yes.
and just make the whole village better.
Right. You're living with impact at that moment. You're living with impact. And, what I look at is the fact that, everything starts with that belief, guys. When we read in the scripture talks about as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But when we go and look at the concordance and we break that word heart down, we do that research when it was translated, that heart technically means mind. So you could replace heart and say, as a man thinketh in his mind, so is he. And then in Romans, I believe it's chapter 12, verse 2, it talks about don't be conformed by the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so what I've learned over the years, and I share this with my children, I share this with my students, and I would like to share with the listeners that think about this, BEAR, B-E-A-R. The B stands for beliefs. The E stands for emotions, the A stands for action, and the R stands for results. So the beliefs, your beliefs, right, when a situation happens, it's neutral. It has no built-in meaning to it. But you give it a meaning based on your perception. Your perception is based on your beliefs. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong. Doesn't mean if it's true or false. It's just your beliefs. That's your perception. So you filter this situation in, and you perceive it a certain way, and you believed it. And then once you believe it, you're thinking on this thing, then all of a sudden your emotions follow your thoughts. Your emotions doesn't know if something is good or bad, true or false, if something happened in the moment, or if something happened 20 years ago. Or if you visualize in the future, your emotion cannot determine it. It only was designed by our Creator to only respond to your thinking, what you're thinking. And then your emotions, based on your feeling, you already know that's going to determine your action.
Correct.
If you don't believe you can do this thing, if you don't believe that you can make this thing happen, you can help somebody, you're not going to put forth the action.
That's correct.
And then your action is going to determine your results, whether it's the results you prefer or you don't prefer. And I like to talk about another law, the law of cause and effect. The results that you have in your life right now is the effects, but it was a cause behind it. But oftentimes we try to change the behaviors, the action. And it will last a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks. But then when you default to your old habits, right, automatically, then that you're going to go right back to the same way.
I got one better. You go down the same rabbit hole.
Right, go back to the same rabbit hole. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah.
Everything must change.
Yeah, so the idea is not to change the behavior. Yes, we want to do that. That's the focus, but that's not the all and all. That's not the cause. The cause is not the emotion, because your emotion change based on what you're thinking. The cause, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your thinking, your beliefs. And so it's very critical to be around people that you can build with. So, Mr. Barry, let's go back to you with personal development, because the reason why I brought this up, guys, because in order for us to solve the problems that we just talked about in our community, right, reducing homelessness, preventing homelessness, creating affordable housing and workforce housing, then that homeowner who's not a homeowner yet have to believe they can be a homeowner.
Correct.
They can put in the work to get their credit together. They can put in the work to get the income they need. Then that real estate investor, that developer, has to believe that they can actually go and buy this property at a discount, renovate it successfully, and either rent it out as affordable housing or workforce housing, or they can sell it as an affordable housing. But if they don't believe, they can't do it. Nope. So it takes the village. It's going to take us to be able to bring affordable housing, workforce housing to our community so we could drive this mission forward. But we can't drive it forward if nobody believes. So tell us a little bit about your experience and what's your thoughts on personal development.
My experience on personal development is when we're dealing with people some of them have the same problems we have, but they won't initially say it. So we can say, if I have a problem or something going on, I can talk to you and rant, and you and Mr. Dana about it. I can actually, hey man, this is what's going on, and then I would respect your solution or your decision or what you make. Say, Barry, we can help you with this. We need to talk to people that we can trust and have confidence in,
yes, sir,
and they can show us the right way. Because we shouldn't be ashamed of our past or what happened.
Yes, sir.
You made a mistake on this, you made a mistake on that, so be it. You lost your house, so be it. But let's transform our mind and our thought pattern. So when we transform, we become new.
That's right.
So we transform from the old ways to new ways. So we do something different than we did last time. We won't buy the expensive clothes or this, that, and that. We make very good, hard decisions. Like you told me about coffee. You spend this on coffee, you spend that. So, okay, that money has to be taken away. Cut back on your drinks or coffee,
yes,
drink
sir.
water, walk, do this, that, and other. So those things need to be taught to the people who don't know, because a lot of time we don't know, or we know and act like we don't know.
That part.
Because we might know what's right and we still doing the wrong thing. Right. So I think somebody said, if you see me doing something wrong and you don't say anything, you held just as more accountable as I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't come
we
and say,
are our brothers keep
right, and so you say, Barry, don't go left, don't go right. And if you tell me that, look, go left or go right. That's what we're supposed to do as men and as friends and as brothers. We should, if we see, because people fall simply sometimes because if long as I'm having fun with you and all the money run out, I'm having the fun, I'm leaving.
Right.
So you need to say, hey, that's enough. Stop spending. Cut this off. And literally just go to a person. You know, even your brothers, you should have that respect for another man or that person you're friends with to say, you're going the wrong way.
That's right.
You're driving too fast. We don't say something sometimes. We just let us crash. So a lot of people crash simply because of circumstances. I don't know. I don't care. And so if they don't care, we got to try them saying, no, man, that's better.
That's right. And
Do it better.
And it goes back to, I like the word care. I've learned this acronym a while back, and I've been using it. And care, in my perspective, is predicting somebody's needs and helping them, right? You know, I could see you going down the wrong road, like
Right.
you mentioned. And so I've been there before 20 times. I don't want you to go there. So before we leave off the show, I want to touch on something that's important, too. It's called energy efficiency. Because when we talk about affordable housing and workforce housing, energy consumption is huge. We know that energy is very expensive in some cases, but tell us, Dion, from a perspective of how investors, real estate landlords, they can make the homes more energy efficient real quickly, and then also homeowners, that way they can lower their consumption costs, that way more income is staying in their household.
Well, one of the things you, Randy, for mentioning that, one of the things to the listeners to understand and get an opportunity to learn is that energy consumption usage is real. Between the hours of 1 and 7 o'clock is your highest peak demand. So basically, if you get an opportunity to not wash, cook, iron, sew, whatever it may be, during those hours and keep your air conditioner at a moderate temperature, you're going to have an opportunity to save energy.
Wow.
One of the things overall, what everybody do wrong sometime is they shut the unit off all day and not know when they come home from 5 o'clock at work, it's going to run all the way to midnight before we get the house down to 72 degrees.
Wow.
So the opportunity is to put it to 75, 76 when you're at work, and then when you get home, drop it to 72. Not just let the unit run for
Right.
6, 7 hours, and it's going to take its toll. But in the end, the money you think you're saving, you're not. In addition to that, also is saving is to make sure that you have wind turbines on your house to remove the heat from the attic, and then make sure that you have the proper installation. So one of the things overall, my company in particular, is helping people conserve energy, is to look at those measures on air conditioning, your roofing, and also how you dissipate heat will help you overall save on your light bill.
I love that. So tell us how somebody get in touch with you, Dion, and then we're going to come to you, Mr. Barry.
I can be reached at 985-231-8753 if you have any questions or need any help.
Awesome. Mr. Barry, how can somebody get in touch with you?
And I can be reached at 504-941-0461 or 504-635-5644.
Awesome. I love it. And so my contact number is 504-270-1314. Again, 504-270-1314. You can also visit chamblissmortgagecapital.com. There's going to be a little link that says join the community at the top. Just click on that link. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And that way you can stay connected with the team. So God bless. Enjoy the rest of your day on purpose. And we mean that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.